cameras, IoT sensors can be inside the factory actively checking. It can be updated real-time, tamper-proof on a blockchain ledger. And that makes it transparent for everyone to see. And nobody else can change it because it is the structure of a blockchain is such that people can tamper it. So that's a very interesting use case. You asked about passion. Passion is healthcare. Healthcare because we all value good health. And I founded an initiative called Usha Renal Care Foundation, which accelerates healthcare research in renal care, diabetes, nerve health. And I hope all our data is being used directly or indirectly on social media and so on. I hope that there's some form of inclusion in healthcare, that if our data is used anywhere, I hope people are incentivized, they are included in research, they are aware of that information, because that access of information can actually save someone's life. So that is an excellent use case as well in healthcare, where the transparency of what research is happening can happen. And imagine having a glass door for all the treatments in the world, but tamper-proof, not like somebody's just gone and written something, in a biased way. So all that can happen on a blockchain.
So it's very interesting that blockchain is sort of still taking off, but not as heavily covered in the media. But perhaps we could get a lot of questions from the younger generation who are more aware of this, perhaps from the older generation also who have seen the business medium as we go forward. So let me ask you about the publisher one. I was speaking about how buggy are publishers when it comes to writing a book. So what was your experience when it comes to publishing the book and writing?
Yes, I think I was blessed with a very patient person, Miss Smriti, who was coordinating with me and motivating that I can get to the finish line, because while running a business, being a caregiver and studying at IIM, it was crazy writing the book. But I think it was encouraging at the same time to do it and to reach that level of consistency to keep contributing and making it happen over a year. So I would say it's great amount of teamwork to make it happen. The publishers were really a part of this journey, and yeah, we made it happen, and that's why it's out, and yeah, it was quite a nice experience working with it.
Right. Let me ask you another tech question. How many of you guys have heard about ChatGPT? It's all the rage here, right? So let me ask you this question, and blockchain is at the forefront of all technologies, but even I have been covering a lot of ChatGPT since November last year. So let me ask you, how do you see AI kind of integrating with blockchain? And subsequently, how do you see other emerging technologies like IoT kind of coming in and building the whole stack of technologies that's going to drive humanity towards the future?
So the clear answer is it's going to be very cohesively working together. That's exactly very actively covered in the book. But one thing to wonder, imagine before ChatGPT, there was so much marketing about crypto and blockchain. The marketeers really were amazing about it. Now imagine after ChatGPT what is going to happen. The content is going to multiply tenfold, hundredfold. So it's for the good because information will get more delivered, more custom, more personalized, and people will be able to understand it better. So ChatGPT is just going to help blockchain education and all industries much more accelerated. So good thing in that way, and yeah, hopefully more relevant, personalized, understandable content for everyone.
Right. So could you give me a bit of understanding of how do you see AI kind of integrating with blockchain? Do you see a lot of it already happening? Because I speak with a lot of entrepreneurs and big enterprises, and they've had the experience of working with AI for forever. And it's just come to the fore with ChatGPT, of course. So what is your experience when it comes to blockchain and the AI, the marriage?
Yes, it's a beautiful one because then there is no human intervention or human bias in certain scenarios where multiple collaborations happen. So blockchains are excellent for collaborative work, particularly when there are multiple organizations that are working together. Now, AI could be your inspector across all of these operations. Is the work being done properly or not could be very well checked. So your camera becomes your deployed AI checker, basically, which checks whether the work is being done or not. And this is used very widely in factories globally right now. So I'm working with customers who are checking like that. Another is farm to fork. Is the plant really organic? Have they put any pesticides or not? Or if it's come from the right soil or right place that they're really saying that it's come from some very fancy place or not. So all of that checks AI will check. Again, contracts. The way contracts work right now, it's a paper agreement. But if it's on a smart contract, which is a very crucial part of blockchain, AI can check whether that work has really happened or not. And as soon as that check has happened physically, so for example, the work is 100 kilos of apple have to come from one place to another. Now AI, along with like the physical presence is there or not, can be checked, and then that could be updated on the ledger and the smart contract can trigger. So that's the amazing part. So it is a very good blend of AI and IoT and blockchain to come together and create a very transparent infrastructure between multiple stakeholders globally.
From one technology to another, I would like to understand, how do you see quantum computing coming into the whole equation of technology ecosystem? It's still some way. I mean, the timeline is something that nobody talks about. And the NVIDIA CEO, he kind of told me that perhaps it's 20 years down the line at least. And IBM CEO, he himself was saying that we are already working on it, and the qubits is the main aspect of it. So how is quantum computing kind of factoring into the world of blockchain? Do you see a book coming out of you on this topic, perhaps?
Yeah, it's very futuristic for sure, but also a very responsible question whether we need it or not, sooner or later. So like Jurassic Park, whether to do it or not, like, like to get to, because if we have quantum computing too early and too expensive, then things will hack faster. All our mobile phones, all our data will hack out faster and will be out of control. If it happens at the right time, in the right readiness, and it has to be cheap in a way that a lot of people, like mobile phones today, we all have. So if it has to come to that point where it's done responsibly and at the right cost and everything with the right stakeholdership. So it's really far away, but I think mankind is evolving in different forms, and once we're ready, it'll happen. So that would be the case. And lastly, book you mentioned. Book right now committed to healthcare, studying nerve health a lot. So hopefully I want to see how our lives actually connect to our health, and it's very important. What you're doing today is going to affect, 10 years, 20 years down the line. We're all working for a happy, healthy life. So I think that's where I'm committed to. Let's see where it goes. But a documentary series is underway on it. So look forward and see what it shapes, and if it's worthwhile, I'll definitely look into it.
So you're into the arts also, you would like to say, since you have the book out now and now looking at the documentary. So what does the future hold for Shilpa, the entrepreneur?
Meaningful, large-scale impact. And I know I'm very young and started small completely on my own, being an entrepreneur from scratch. So goal is to make little meaningful things out of my time now. Success is, whatever you aim for and you work for it. So my hope is my technology that I'm building hopefully reaches billions of people and has effective value to their lives. So working on what is that and how it can. And good health is something that I feel. So for me, the success would be around that. And that's it.
And how about the road ahead when it comes to Shilpa, the writer? Do you see something that's on the horizon? Do we see something that we can read perhaps in the near future?
Yeah, I think life, right? I'm still there's a long way. So I think I think it would be around nerve health and neuroscience and biocomputing and speeding up that aspect as well. So yeah, that would be the goal. Working hard to make sure it's accurate, obviously wouldn't. So that's one thing about writing a book. You write, you're on the 10th chapter, you start reading your first chapter, you want to still go and do more and revise and refine and do. So it's a big responsibility. So yeah, I would make sure that when I write, I will write it to be completely credible and entrepreneurship as well, maybe, because I've built a business which is self-revenued and it has helped people. So that's something that I would happily share if
That's very
that's a good
relevant
point.
in the current times also. So we have some time for the questions. So anyone wants to ask some questions? Please, the gentleman there.
Latest technologies that have been developed, like IoT, AI, blockchain, and even metaverse, uh, do you feel that somewhere we'll be losing employment of many people as such? And these technologies may not last long. See, every year or even 6 months, it keeps changing. Can corporates absorb this?
Very good question, because employment, the vision is the quality of work needs to improve. Like, there are a lot of unfair jobs on earth, which probably machines can take over and the person can do much more quality jobs. So in my ideal story, education also becomes easier with technology. So if anybody wants to upskill to a better life or a better job, that opportunity also comes with this update of technology. So that is hopefully the positive intent that we all go ahead. The second, as you mentioned, yeah, are corporates ready to absorb? So this is, loss of employment happens when people overhire or there are wrong investments gone into ideas that have really no ROI from a consumer point of view. So I feel, again, that is one scrutiny that is not very well done, where some projects are more heavily funded for something that's not really, appealing to everyone. So that governance or regulation has to evolve as a community, and because of tech, social media, people are able to voice what is wrong a little more. So hopefully that helps. But yeah, I think that's something that we all need to work on and make sure that it's a little more foolproof and wrong investments don't go wrong places, so that not overhiring doesn't happen and then sudden loss also doesn't happen. Our traditional way of doing businesses, where people used to make revenues without like that funding craze, used to be the most organic way, and that time the stability of jobs were also a lot longer. So hopefully we become more aware of patterns and trends and make right choices for ourselves as well when we work with people.
But we lack the skill sets, isn't it?
Education is also adopting technology. So hopefully we are all very committed, and I'm very sure a lot of speakers as well who've written the book hopefully are actively helping in educating and making sure skill is better. Yeah. That would be my hope and answer to this.
Thank you. So anyone else who has questions? Yep, gentleman at the back.
Ms. Karakeraa, you spoke about technology and various other realms like education and so on and so forth. Also, the prior person who asked about the corporates absorbing. My question deals about the ethics and technology. Do you think there is a congruence between the technology and ethics in the direction that we humans have to evolve, especially in the context of India? Thank you.
So just to check if I've understood the question rightly, the question is about technology and ethics, right?
You're right.
Okay. So yes, this is something that's very crucial. So in machine learning as well, there's a lot of bias data that goes into training. Now, sometimes different races are not recognized on Instagram filters or like a lot of other facial recognition banking apps and stuff. So there is a problem in terms of having the right ethics while it is being developed. And it's never going to be ideal, but what happens is when a technology fails, that's when people get to know that it's not ethically right or it was not envisioned for. What is one big change that happened is open source communities. Open source community means Every one of you can actually join an open source community, even if you don't know to code. Okay, it's not necessary for you to be just a coder who's joining an open source community. You can go there and actually see if the user story or the functionality is written from a human point of view as a consumer point of view. So this is something that we all in the open source community will have to go and voice when you're truly a probable consumer. So for example, things that happened in Twitter, the polarization maybe, all of that, again, you have to voice it out. So, and the best place for technology is the open source communities, the Discord channels and the Slack channels of these communities. So Ethereum has one. Hyperledger India chapter is amazing. Yeah, it's filled with amazing people. Please go ahead and join. And that's a good way for your careers as well, to join these communities and actually be a part of the change and getting ethics right in technology. So I would encourage, everybody to actually join and make those contributions to make technology more ethical.
Thank you, Shilpa, for those questions. I think we are on the dot. We are done with our session. So yeah, thank you. Thank you.